world is home to some incredibly complex and treacherous rail routes. With histories stretching back over a century. Every bend in the track is a challenge. Push forward or stop. Out here, mistakes don't give you a chance to fix things. There's no turning back, and sometimes there's not even a second chance. From rails so thin, they're the only thing standing between the train and a drop of thousands of meters. To routes snaking through busy cities. What all these paths have in common is that they're all testing the limits of human precision and timing. Come along with me as we explore the world's most dangerous railways and train journeys that shouldn't exist, where every curve hides a story. The FCAB Railway is the loneliest rail corridor in the world. Stretching 929 kilometers from the port of Antofagasta in Chile to Bolivia. Formed after Bolivia lost its sea access in the War of the Pacific. The line cuts through the driest desert on Earth, then climbs the Andes through barren, cracked land where even bacteria struggle to survive. At over 4,500 meters, thin air reduces oxygen and causes loss of focus. Temperatures can swing 40 degrees Celsius within a single day, affecting the steel rails. Despite the harsh conditions, it remains a critical minerals logistics route for the battery and electric vehicle industries. You buy a seat ticket, but end up with $1 million view from the roof of the train. The Biswajtema special train in Bangladesh runs during the Biswajtema season. One of the world's largest religious gatherings with over 5 million people. Tonghi Station becomes extremely crowded as passengers take every space inside, on windows, steps, the engine, and even the roof. A normal train for 800 to 1,000 people can carry over 10,000, looking like a moving, living carpet. This extreme crowding makes derailment a constant risk, especially on curves. Passengers also face dangers from low high voltage wires, tree branches, and signal signs. Despite control efforts, the huge number of people during the festival often goes beyond safety limits and challenges railway standards worldwide. The railway through the Tian Shan Canyon in the Kuza section is often called a route hanging by a thread, surrounded by fragile rock that can crumble from strong vibrations. The red sandstone is hard when dry, but breaks easily when wet or shaken, making every curve unstable. Heavy rain or the vibration of a locomotive hauling dozens of coal cars can trigger rockfalls along the canyon walls. This line mainly serves heavy freight trains carrying thousands of tons of coal. Known as one of China's most beautiful lines, it runs only 4 to 5 months a year. With few trains and mostly freight traffic, capturing a long train winding through the red rock walls takes patience and perfect timing, and the journey still holds more surprises ahead. The Daju Cliff Railway is considered by many adventure travel sites to be one of the scariest transportation experiences in Asia. Developed by CRRC, this 11.8-kilometer line quickly became a phenomenon. Over a third of the route clings to near-vertical cliffs at about 1,150 meters, with almost no escape and a sheer drop below. Every curve opens up a breathtaking view, making the train feel like a moving observation deck between clouds and rock. Dense fog can roll in at any moment, cutting visibility fast. Since opening, the line has gone viral on social media, drawing thrill seekers who call it the most spectacular train journey in the world. Ancient and modern meet at 1,200 meters above sea level, that's 21st century China. This is the legendary railway that appeared in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, home to Robert Redford's famous ad-lib. Think you used enough dynamite there, Butch? The Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad is one of the most dangerous narrow gauge railways out there. Large stretches run on rock ledges carved into sheer walls with no barriers and drops of hundreds of meters, especially on the High Line. Instead of views, the window shows solid rock, like hanging mid-air. Despite its fragile look, the track can carry steam engines up to 113 tons and their vibrations. But frequent rockfalls remain a risk since even small stones can hit the narrow gauge line directly. Built in 1882 for silver transport, it remains a masterpiece, yet it can rattle even the most experienced drivers. The Curitiba Railway in Brazil was once considered impossible, yet it has endured for over 140 years. Here, the tracks are fixed to a vertical rock wall with very little space to the edge, so any vibration is dangerous. Behind the beauty is a hard truth. Over 9,000 workers died from accidents and yellow fever in the rainforest. In just a few hours, the train drops from over 800 meters to near sea level, so brake failure would be very serious. The route passes 14 tunnels and heavy rain areas where landslides and falling rocks threaten the train and passengers. From the train window, normal ground nearly vanishes from sight and is replaced again and again by sheer cliff walls, tunnel mouths, and deep drops throughout the entire journey. Stretching across the western coast of India, the Konkan Railway is the most legendary railway in the world, where a train passes through a massive sea of milk. Dudhsagar Falls, over 300 meters high, pours across the railway. This 760-kilometer line is one of the hardest projects of the 20th century, with more 90 tunnels, 2,000 bridges, and soft ground sections. In monsoon season, heavy rain causes floods and landslides that can derail or stop trains for hours. Water from the falls can even cover the tracks, making the train feel like a boat in a waterfall. Modern technology has improved safety with drainage and retaining walls, but nature still poses risks. Nowhere else in the world can passengers open a window and feel the mist of a massive waterfall hit them in the face from that close. It takes real courage to ride this railway in such a dangerous place. Built during the Klondike Gold Rush in the late 19th century, the White Pass and Yukon route was made for prospectors. Thousands of workers used basic tools and wooden bridges over deep gorges, with many deaths of men and horses, leading to the name Dead Horse Trail. The line runs through steep canyon walls and old wooden bridges with tight curves where passengers in the last car can see the engine scraping near rock walls. Harsh weather, with icy winds and snowstorms, can damage the tracks. Still, its cliffs and glaciers earned it the title Scenic Railway of the World. Today, it is a heritage tourist line and one of the few journeys that requires a passport, as it crosses the US-Canada border at White Pass Summit. Among many engineering wonders, the train to the clouds in Argentina is a must-see railway. At over 4,200 meters in the Andes, it is one of the highest railways in the world. The scariest part is the La Polverilla Viaduct, a huge steel bridge over a deep gorge with no side barriers, making it feel like floating in the air. Because of the extreme altitude, trains carry oxygen tanks and medical staff for passengers with altitude sickness. The shaking of heavy train cars over old bridge sections makes your heart race. At stops, passengers can join a short ceremony, hear the Argentine anthem, and see the flag waving in the Andes. The Alps are one of those iconic must-visit destinations when you're in Switzerland. But few people realize that hidden behind that picture-perfect scenery is a railway that gives many visitors pause. Hidden behind the Alps' picture-perfect scenery is Europe's highest outdoor rack railway. With a gradient of up to 20%, and passing by over 29 mountain peaks. It's often called a steel staircase from the valley to the sky. At 4,000 meters, thin air causes dizziness, and the train runs along steep sections beside glaciers and deep drops. Weather can shift from blazing sun to a blinding blizzard in minutes. Despite all that, this railway runs year-round thanks to specially designed engines and dedicated snow-clearing systems. In front of you is a strange-looking train, an old steam engine pushing a single passenger car up the slope from behind. It may look odd, but this is the world's first mountain cog railway, climbing Mount Washington, the highest peak in northeastern USA. Only 4.8 kilometers long, it rises nearly 1,917 meters with slopes up to 37%. Feeling like a tilted elevator to the sky, people call it the railway to the moon, because the idea once sounded crazy. In 1858, Marsh's plan was mocked so much that building a railway to the moon was said to sound more realistic than reaching the summit. In the past, steam engines burning coal and oil also created risks of forest fires and losing control on steep slopes. Some roads are not for the faint of heart, and the Pilatus Railway is one of them. Clinging to a near-vertical mountainside, it is one of the boldest railways in history, and even makes thrill-seekers hesitate. Once seen as a cursed mountain linked to dragons and spirits, its construction was delayed by fear and superstition. Finally, in 1889, the world's steepest cog railway was born, with a maximum gradient of 48%, nearly double the limit of many other cog railways. The bright red cars have low windows, so passengers can look straight into the mountainside and feel the steep slope. Drivers need steady nerves, and because of heavy snow and avalanche risk, it only runs seasonally from May to November. Not all dangerous railways are in mountains or snow. The Chaka Salt Lake Railway sits over 3,000 meters high on the Qinghai Plateau in China. This 600-millimeter narrow-gauge line runs 4 kilometers into the middle of Chaka Salt Lake. The mirror of the sky, just wide enough for a small train. It was first built to extract and transport salt. In summer, a thin layer of water creates a mirror effect, making the train look like it is flying across the sky. But the salt and mud below are unstable and can sink. Strong winds also carry salt dust that can damage metal. Today, small tourist trains take visitors into the Mirror Sea for photos. One word of warning though, the reflected light can be intensely blinding, and the highly saline lake water can destroy electronic devices almost instantly. Some roads look ordinary, but hide a story written in tears. The Death Railway connects Thailand and Myanmar. This 415-kilometer line was built by the Japanese Empire during World War II to move soldiers and weapons. Its name comes not only from the dangerous terrain, the cliffs above deep rivers and wooden bridges hanging in the air, but also from its human cost. Over 100,000 prisoners of war and Asian laborers were forced to work in harsh conditions during disease and exhaustion. In the Speedo period, workers worked day and night with the saying, "Every rail laid is a life left behind." The steep cliffs and unstable limestone cause frequent landslides, especially in the rainy season. Today, part of the line still runs as a tourist route between Namtok and Kanchanaburi. The Gokteik Viaduct is not just a bridge or a railway, but a mix of both. Hidden in the remote mountains of Myanmar, it is one of the most terrifying railway bridges in the world. It is about as tall as a 30-story building and crosses a deep gorge with tropical plants and a river below. At nearly 700 meters long, it rises like a metal frame in the air, with views down steep cliffs and natural caves in the canyon walls. Despite its height and danger, it has no protective railings and has stood for over 100 years. Just looking down can make your heart race, and visitors should not lean out of the windows because many people have already lost items below. After more than a century, despite damage and wear, Gokteik is still a strong psychological challenge between beauty and fear. The Landwasser Viaduct is the highlight of the Albular Railway in Switzerland. A UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most beautiful railways in the world. It connects Filisur and Schmitten across the Landwasser Valley, built in a Roman aqueduct style with 6 stone arches made from local limestone. It has stayed almost unchanged for 122 years. What makes it unique is that the tracks curve directly into a tunnel in the rock, so the train seems to disappear into the mountain. The bridge has no railings and looks fragile, which can make passengers nervous. At about 213 feet high, you can see the train cars tilt as it crosses. Like the front is chasing its tail. To maintain safety, trains go very slowly here, so passengers can take photos and enjoy the crossing. The Renzikou railway bridge still feels like an impossible equation, solved with early 20th century engineering. It is about 65 meters long and stands around 100 meters above the Yunnan-Vietnam railway line. Crossing the deep Daju River gorge with near-vertical 90-degree rock walls. It looks like an iron web between 2 mountain gaps. The bridge has no columns in the ground or riverbed. Only 2 rock anchors at each end, holding hundreds of tons of steel, built by workers hanging over the abyss. Its shape even looks like the Chinese character for person. Every crossing is very stressful because of the height and narrow space. It is a destination for thrill seekers and proof of early engineering that pushed human limits in early 20th century. The Taipanjiang Railway Bridge in Yunnan crosses the Beipan River Gorge in southwest China. The bridge crosses a U-shaped gorge with near-vertical rock walls at almost 90 degrees, and it became the first railway structure on Earth to reach a height of around 275 meters. Back in 2001, no railway structure in the world had been built to reach that height. When trains cross, there is almost no ground below, so any accident would be very dangerous. The area often has thick fog and strong winds in the rainy season, making driving difficult and requiring high safety standards. After more than 20 years, the bridge is still in good condition and has reduced mineral transport time from days to just a few hours. In the wild Yorkshire countryside in northern England, the Ribblehead Viaduct stretches across the air like it is defying gravity, and a train crosses it. The bridge is over 400 meters long with 24 stone arches, about 32 meters high, built in the 19th century. When the train crosses, it feels like the support disappears and only open space is below. Strong winds in the bare hills make the train sway, especially in winter when thick fog reduces visibility and makes the journey tense. It once faced closure due to high maintenance costs, but was saved and still runs today. Because it is far from cities with little light pollution. It is also a great place for looking brilliant night sky. From the cold heights of England, the journey continues to an even steeper drop in South America. A steel bridge over a drop of more than 100 meters, where just looking down can make your legs go numb. Hidden in the Andes, the Maleco Viaduct is one of the highest railway bridges in South America. It opened in 1890 as part of a rail line linking Santiago to southern Chile. Built with French engineering, it has a steel lattice structure. An arch spans from the late 19th century. When the train enters, the view suddenly opens with no trees or visual support. Only empty space and the Maleco River far below. The narrow deck, exposed steel, and no railings make the crossing very intense, especially for passengers near the windows. Despite changes over time, it still keeps its classic look and remains an icon of South American railways. Leaving the creaking spans of the Maleco Viaduct behind, the journey moves into the open ocean. The Pamban Bridge shows human courage against the power of the sea. Built in 1914, it was India's first sea railway bridge, linking the mainland to Rameswaram Island across the Indian Ocean. As the train crosses, passengers can feel the waves crashing below, like riding a floating road over the sea. Danger is always present because this area is frequently hit by violent storms. Wind speeds powerful enough to blow an entire train into the sea in the catastrophe of 1964. Over 100 years old and constantly exposed to salt corrosion, the steel structure feels shaky and alive with vibration. Its most special feature is a swing span in the middle that opens to let ships pass through the railway line. The Great Salt Lake Causeway is the world's longest railway embankment over water, crossing the Great Salt Lake in the United States for dozens of kilometers with no clear end. Built from rock and earth, it splits the lake into two areas with different colors and salt levels, blue and pink. It was built in several stages and had to be repaired many times after waves and salty ground damage. The base is soft salt mud that can deform and corrode metal, and some areas have even sunk. It also blocks water flow, making the northern part extremely salty and almost lifeless. When water levels drop, dry salt mud turns into dust storms that affect nearby people's health. Because of this, it has been controversial for decades due to environmental impact. Now we are heading into the death train crossing the Sahara Desert, where you risk your health for a free ride. The iron ore train in Mauritania is the longest ore train still operating in the world, up to 3 kilometers long, with nearly 300 cars, known as the Iron Monster. Locals and travelers can ride for free on top of the ore cars, with no seats or roof, sitting directly on sharp iron ore. They face toxic metal dust and extreme heat, from 50 degrees Celsius in the day to near freezing at night. Speed and strong shaking are also dangerous, and one mistake can throw you off into a desert with hazards like old minefields. The trip takes about 20 hours, and people wrap themselves in cloth to protect their lungs and eyes from iron dust. Would you rather spend 12 hours crammed in with the crowd in Bangladesh, or 12 hours inhaling freezing iron dust in the Sahara? Let us know in the comments. If you see it for the first time, you'd wonder, is this real or AI generated? This watercolor is literally poison for steel. The salt harvesting train on Lake Burlinskoye in Russia is known for extreme corrosion. This train doesn't carry passengers. Instead, it pulls a specialized piece of equipment called a salt harvester, which scrapes the crystallized salt layer from the lake bottom and loads it directly into the cars. The high salt levels turn the lake surface into a metal grinder that can damage any metal structure. The mechanics face enormous pressure, operating hundreds of tons of cargo on a hidden path beneath a layer of deep salt mud. If you follow the train out of curiosity without protective gear, the razor-sharp salt crystals on the lake bed can cause serious injury. Sipping coffee and snapping photos with a train rolling in front of you. Have you tried that experience yet? In Vietnam, this actually exists. Hanoi's train street sits right in the busy city center and is known for its thrill, where trains pass less than a meter from people's homes. It is one of the most dangerous places in the world, where living space and railway line mix together. Instead of fear, locals turned it into a row of cafes. About 5 to 10 minutes before a train arrives, shop owners blow whistles, clear tables and chairs, and ask customers to stand behind the safety line. Visitors can feel the rush of wind and heat as the train passes very close. The area has been closed by authorities many times for safety, but its popularity keeps bringing it back in some form. Continuing the list of dangerous railway routes, the Maeklong Railway Market in Thailand is one place in Southeast Asia that cannot be missed. It can transform at lightning speed from a bustling market into an active railway line like this in just a matter of seconds. Here, the tracks aren't fenced off, but run right through the middle of a market, where goods are laid out inches from the wheels of the train. Every day, life at this spot goes through tense moments when the train horn sounds. In an instant, hundreds of awnings are folded back, clearing the way for a massive steel body that glides past just centimeters from the market stalls. Despite the danger, its unique setup boosts tourism near Bangkok and attracts visitors who come for the close and unusual experience. If you could choose to be the train driver, which of these 5 trains would you pick? A train hanging upside down in midair. Have you heard of it? In China, what seemed like something only out of a sci-fi movie has become reality. The Optics Valley Suspension Railway is China's first commercial suspension railway. The whole cabin is made of clear tempered glass, including the floor, so passengers can look straight down from a very high position. The line runs elevated, crossing through traffic intersections and parks, creating breathtaking angles with no visual anchor beneath your feet. Despite complex operations, the train is fully controlled by AI with no driver on board. If something goes wrong, passengers could be stuck in mid-air and only rescued by a special team. For people afraid of heights, it is a very intense and scary experience. The Nanjing Metro Line S9 features the longest railway bridge crossing a lake in eastern China and also the most stunning section of the entire line. Nicknamed the real-life Spirited Away, the tracks run on a viaduct over 12 kilometers long, making up nearly 25% of the total line length. Line S9 is also one of the fastest metro lines in Nanjing, with a maximum design speed of around 75 miles per hour. When the train runs at that speed over the lake, the view outside the window dissolves into a single, faint white blur. On foggy days or during big storms, when visibility is completely wiped out, the journey turns into a plunge into undefined space. For that reason, if there are storm warnings or strong wind alerts, the line may be shut down or forced to slow down suddenly to maintain safety. And with that, we've taken a special journey together, from railways on cliff faces, to trains crossing endless water, to crowded lines in busy cities. These journeys have become a real challenge, where human courage is truly tested. They are dangerous because of terrain, weather, and old technology. But that risk is also what makes them so fascinating. For anyone wanting to experience something truly different. If you enjoy exploring and don't mind a challenge, at least one of these could end up on your travel list. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep following us on more upcoming adventures.